Imagine a man trapped in a relentless, suffocating laughter, a medical condition that masks an ocean of pain and alienation. Picture a city crumbling under the weight of its own despair, where the rich soar and the poor are forgotten, dismissed as nothing more than clowns. Today, we dive into the chilling origin story of Gotham's most infamous villain, a descent into madness fueled by societal neglect and personal tragedy. Welcome back, cinematic explorers, to Movie Recap Central, where we break down the most impactful films scene by devastating scene. Before we unravel the layers of Joker, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Our story begins with Arthur Fleck, a party clown in a grim Gotham City, struggling to make ends meet and care for his ailing mother, Penny. He attends therapy sessions, documenting his thoughts in a journal, hoping to find a path to his dream of becoming a stand-up comedian. During a session, he reveals his journal is also a joke diary, a place for funny observations. One haunting entry reads, "I just hope my death makes more sense than my life," hinting at his deep despair. He asks his therapist for increased medication, admitting he just don't want to feel so bad anymore. Arthur suffers from a neurological condition, pseudobulbar effect, which causes uncontrollable, inappropriate laughter. At home, Arthur and Penny are consumed by their fixation on Thomas Wayne, a wealthy businessman Penny believes will save Gotham. Penny constantly sends him letters, convinced he owes them help because she worked for his family years ago. They watch Live with Murray Franklin, a popular talk show, which Arthur dreams of appearing on. A clip shows Murray interacting with Arthur in the audience, making light of his living situation with his mother. Arthur tells Murray he's been the man of the house his whole life, taking care of his mother. He explains his mother always told him to smile and put on a happy face, believing he was meant to spread joy. Murray, in a moment of seemingly genuine kindness, tells Arthur he'd give it all up for a kid like him. Back at work, Arthur's colleague Randall, a little person, gives him a gun after hearing about Arthur's recent street assault. Randall insists Arthur needs to protect yourself out there, planting the seed of violence. Arthur expresses discomfort, saying he's not supposed to have a gun, but Randall dismisses his concerns. Later, Arthur's boss, Hoyt, confronts him about a missing sign from a gig, accusing him of lying about being jumped. Hoyt reveals that a lot of the guys here think you're a freak, and that other employees feel uncomfortable around him. This further isolates Arthur, reinforcing the societal perception that people think you're weird. Penny continues to idealize Thomas Wayne, insisting he's a good man, who would help them if he knew their plight. Arthur attempts stand-up at a local club, but his set is awkward and falls flat, with Murray Franklin later questioning if he needs to be funny to be a comedian. He meets his neighbor, Sophie Demond, and develops a romantic interest, often imagining their interactions. During one imagined encounter, Arthur tells Sophie he have a gun, hinting at his growing darker impulses. Arthur's gun accidentally falls out while performing at a children's hospital, leading to his firing. Hoyt rages, asking what kind of a clown carries a fucking gun, after Randall's betrayal. Arthur is ultimately fired, feeling completely abandoned by his workplace. On a subway, Arthur's uncontrollable laughter offends three drunken Wall Street businessmen who mock a woman, leading to a confrontation. The men assault Arthur, demanding what's so fucking funny about his laughter. Arthur tries to explain, "I have a condition," but they ignore him, escalating the attack. In a moment of self-defense and rage, Arthur uses Randall's gun to shoot two of the men, then pursues and executes the third, shouting, "Stay down, freak." The subway killing sparks citywide protests, with many donning clown masks and supporting the unknown killer. Penny, watching the news, sees Thomas Wayne's on TV, discussing the murders. Thomas Wayne expresses sorrow for the victims, stating they'd worked for Wayne Investments and were family. He dismisses the emerging clown movement as envious cowards, calling them nothing but clowns. Arthur's social worker informs him their funding has been cut, and she can no longer provide his medication or therapy, leaving him saying, "All I have are negative thoughts." This news, following the "they've cut our funding" announcement, pushes Arthur further into isolation. He accuses her, "I don't think you ever really hear me," highlighting his profound loneliness. Arthur reflects, "I used to think that my life was a tragedy, but now I realize that's a fucking comedy." A clip of Arthur's stand-up from the Pogo Comedy Club, where he proclaimed, "I'm gonna be a comedian," is shown on Murray Franklin's show, Mocked by Murray. The clip goes viral, and the public's reaction is mixed, some seeing Arthur as, "the guy that did it is a hero." Arthur finds a letter revealing his mother believed Thomas Wayne was his biological father, making her say, "Dance with me." For Thomas Wayne. Penny claims, "We were in love," and Thomas concealed their relationship for appearances. Arthur confronts Thomas Wayne at a public event, declaring, "Thomas Wayne is my father." Wayne coldly informs Arthur he was adopted and his mother was delusional and committed to Arkham Asylum. He calls Penny a sick woman and dismisses Arthur's claims. Distraught, Arthur shouts, "I don't need you to tell me lies," before being assaulted by Thomas Wayne. He begs for, maybe a little bit of warmth, maybe a hug, Dad, before being forcefully removed. Alfred Pennyworth also intervenes, threatening Arthur, "You touch my son again, I'll fucking kill you." Shirley Woods, a booker for Murray Franklin, calls Arthur, excitedly saying, "Murray played a clip of your stand-up and the audience loved it. Murray wants me to come on his show," offering Arthur the big break he always dreamed of. Shirley asks, "Are you available next Thursday?" setting the stage for his fateful appearance. Arthur visits Arkham Asylum, bypassing security to find his mother's records, which are all our records that are 10 years or older. He confides in a clerk, admitting, "I fucked up. I've done some bad shit," but the clerk advises him to seek help, unaware of Arthur's true state. Arthur reminds the clerk that, "they cut all those social services," underscoring his entrapment. The records confirm Penny suffered from delusional psychosis and narcissistic personality disorder. More shockingly, she was found guilty of endangering the welfare of her own child, detailing severe abuse Arthur suffered as a boy. The records explicitly state, "You adopted him," crushing Arthur's last shred of hope about his parentage. They describe Arthur as tied to a radiator and malnourished, a victim of Penny's abusive boyfriends. Penny's claim that he's always been such a happy little boy is brutally contrasted with the truth. Arthur later enters Sophie's apartment, where she tells him, "You're in the wrong apartment," revealing their past interactions were imagined. He confronts his hospitalized mother, "I've had a bad day," feeling completely betrayed and exposed. Arthur tells his unconscious mother, "I always hated that name," referring to Happy, her nickname for him. He smothers her with a pillow, whispering, "I haven't been happy for 1 minute of my entire fucking life." He truly embraces his dark transformation, now fully believing his life, that's a fucking comedy. Before his appearance on Murray Franklin's show, Arthur asks to be introduced as Joker. Murray, amused, asks, "What's wrong with your real name?" not realizing the symbolic significance. Detectives Garrity and Burke arrive at Arthur's apartment, investigating the subway murders. They question him about his mother's death, "That's why we came by," but Arthur, in full Joker makeup, asserts he feels good and "stop taking my medication." Randall, worried, attempts to pressure Arthur into aligning their stories about the gun, accusing him, if it was a fucking midget, he'd be in jail. Arthur then brutally stabs Randall to death, eliminating the witness who betrayed him. He spares Gary, Randall's dwarf colleague, because, "You're the only one that's ever been nice to me." On live television, Joker confesses to the subway murders, launching into a furious tirade against society. He criticizes how the rich, especially men like Thomas Wayne, ignore the suffering of others, before pulling out a gun and executing Murray Franklin live, declaring, "You get what you fucking deserve." The city erupts in full-scale riots, with citizens embracing Joker as a symbol of rebellion. Arthur, arrested and placed in a police car, witnesses the chaos and fire in Gotham, a smile on his face, asking, "Isn't it beautiful?" The car crashes, and Arthur is freed by rioters, who celebrate him, culminating in the murder of Thomas and Martha Wayne. In the final scene, Arthur is institutionalized at Arkham State Hospital, laughing to himself after apparently killing his therapist. When asked what's funny, he cryptically replies, "You wouldn't get it," solidifying his transformation into the Joker. And there you have it, the harrowing journey of Arthur Fleck, from a struggling clown to the prince of crime, an outcome shaped by a society that pushed him to the brink. What do you think was the turning point for Arthur? Was it the gun, the therapy cuts, or finding out the truth about his mother? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow cinephiles, and subscribe for more mind-bending movie recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next recap.